All right, let's dig a little deeper into the power of effects. In the introductory video, we kind of showed you around how to apply presets and how the stack works. In this video, I want to show you more how to select your own filters and then how to use some of the more advanced masking features to apply them locally. So we're going to start with this photo. I've gone through develop and I've made some basic adjustments. Let me turn the preview on and off. So here's the original out of the camera shot. So in develop, I went through and I brought my exposure down so I could have more of the clouds. And I also made sure I had a good white and black point. So the overall photo has more contrast than the original photo did. Now what I want to do is I really want to enhance the sky separately from the grass and the church as separate parts of the photo. Let's tackle the sky first. I want to make the sky darker and I want to bring back even more detail in the clouds. To do that, we're going to use one of the built-in filters. Now, when you click on the Add Filter button, you'll see all the different filters you can add. There's over 20 different filters that you can stack and blend to really adjust different parts of the photo as you want. In this case, I really want to bring back more detail in the sky, so I'm going to use the Tone Enhancer to do that. The Tone Enhancer will let me lighten and darken parts of the photo. So I'm going to use the Tone Enhancer. I'm going to grab the exposure slider. I'm just going to bring that down. You can see by darkening the exposure, it's going to make the light colors in the sky darker and more vivid, and it's going to bring back more information in those clouds. So if I bring that down a little bit, you can see it's really brought out the sky, but conversely, it's also affected the foreground. I don't want the foreground to get dark. So what I need to do is create an adjustment that only affects the sky. Now there's tons of masking tools and effects that I could do this with. I could simply use like the brush tool, and I could come along with the brush, and I could, let me make my brush bigger here. I'm using the bracket keys on my keyboard to do that. The left bracket key makes it smaller and the right bracket key makes it bigger, just like it does in a lot of other imaging applications. I could come through here and I could try to paint this out, but it's going to be really painstaking when I get in and around the church. Another way to do that would be to use this same tool, the masking brush, but turn on the perfect brush option. The perfect brush option is going to sample the color under the brush, and it's only going to paint away based on the color. Now this is actually a pretty good tool to use. I use it all the time, and it's one of my favorite tools. But again, it's still going to be a little painstaking to go through and accurately brush all of this out, and there might be cases where it's going to accidentally grab some of those sky colors. So even though this is a great general purpose tool, there's an even better tool that I can use in this case. I'm just going to reset my mask here, and I'm going to open up the masking section, and I'll hit reset. I'm going to use what's called a luminosity mask. Because the two portions of the image are fairly different in terms of light to dark, I can actually use the brightness of the underlying image to help me create that mask. To do that, open up the advanced masking section. You do that by clicking on the mask thumbnail on the filter that you want to work on, and then click the lumen button, and that will then create what we call a luminosity mask. If you're not familiar with a luminosity mask, it's basically taking the black and white version of the photo and applying it as a mask. If I hit the O key on my keyboard, or I hit the masking icon right down here at the bottom, I can actually see what that mask looks like. Now you notice in the luminosity that the sky is very bright. It's going to get a lot of whatever the adjustment is. Anything that's darker is going to get less of that adjustment. What I want to do is I want to push those further apart. And there's some handy tools here in the advanced masking section for doing that. The level and window slider are designed for working on luminosity masks. I'm going to use the window slider. The window slider lets me dial down just the range that I want. So I'm going to grab the black point on the window slider. I'm going to bring that in. And you notice as I do that, more and more of the bottom turns black. That's what I want. I'm looking for kind of the maximum black at the bottom. Anything that's black is not going to be adjusted. That's what I want. And then I can also use the white slider on the levels to do the opposite. Let's say I want to make sure I get even more of the sky affected. So I'm going to bring that point in until I've created a very strong white and black mask. So anything that's white is going to get that overall adjustment. Anything that's black is going to be protected from it. I can now use the regular masking brush just to clean up these little highlights in the bottom. And I can do this very quickly because it's easy to see them and none of them are touching the difficult areas around the edges. There we go. Let's make my brush just a little bit smaller, and I'll get in here on that church just a little bit. There we go. Let me hit the O key or hit that button at the bottom to turn that off. And now take a look at what I've done. If I toggle that layer on and off, you can see how I'm now targeted that adjustment to just the sky, just like that. It's a very powerful way to create a mask very quickly. The other cool thing about the masks that you create is you can copy and paste them from layer to layer, and you can also invert them. So if I want to affect the opposite portion of the photo, that's a very common thing to do. I'm going to hit the copy button so that I've stored that mask and I can use it again. Now I want to work on the bottom half of the photo. In this case, I want to make it look more sunny on the bottom. I want to have a little bit of that warm afternoon glow, a little bit of softness to it. So I'm going to click on the Add Filter button, and I'm going to use the Sunshine filter. The Sunshine filter is really going to bring up those greens. It's going to make it look nice and warm and sunny. Watch as I bring that up or down. You can see how it's getting applied to the whole photo. We really only want to apply it to just the foreground. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Let's adjust that to taste. I want it to be a little warmer, a little more saturated. Let's add just a little bit of a glow to it. There we go. It's got this very nice pastoral feel. Now to make it only apply to the foreground, I'll click on that mask button. I'll hit the paste. That's going to paste in that mask from the previous layer. But you remember, we were affecting the sky, not the foreground. I want to do the opposite, so now I just hit the Invert button. That'll flip that mask around, and now it's only going to affect the foreground and not the sky, just like that. Now, there's a little bit of an edge right along here on the edge of the mask. I can clean that up simply by using the Blur Mask tool. That'll just soften that edge a little bit here. So I'm just going to change my mode of my blur tool to normal, and I'll just paint right along that edge. And that's just going to soften the edge of the mask so we don't get any obvious line where those masks intersect with each other. There we go. That's looking pretty cool. I think the last thing I want to do is I want to blur the foreground a little bit more. I want to add kind of a camera blur look. I want to make it look like there's a little more shallow depth of field. Some of these dandelions are not the most attractive. So I'm going to add another filter. This time I'm going to use the lens blur filter. There we go. You can see how lens blur adds this beautiful, realistic lens blur. And as I adjust the amount, you can really see how that affects the photo. It even kind of twinkles a little bit. So I'm going to adjust that down to, oh, let's go for about 15. And again, obviously I don't want to apply it to the whole photo. That's going to blur everything. So this is where I'll use the gradient mask or the masking bug. I'm going to select this tool and I'll click on my photo. And now it's only going to apply it to the bottom portion. I can move that masking bug around and control how quickly it transitions. I really want it to only affect about the bottom 20% of my photo. If I grab the handle, I can rotate it. So I'm going to rotate it to kind of match the horizon line. And then with the outer feather lines, the dashed lines, I can control how quickly that transitions. And I want to have a nice long transition. I'm going to move it down here even more. There we go. That's looking pretty awesome. Let me move my cursor out of here so you don't see that, that masking bug anymore. So let's take a look at our before and our after. There's the original photo out of the camera, and there it is after our adjustments here in Development Effects. I was able to accentuate the sky, bring up the blue, and bring up the detail in the clouds, take the greens in the foreground, make them look brighter and sunnier, and then soften that distracting bottom edge to really create a great looking photo. Now, if I like the setting and I think it's something I'm going to use over and over again, I can always save it as a preset so I can use it again. Go up to your settings menu, select Save Settings as a Preset. I'll just call this Sunny Pasture. And I'm going to save just the effects and the gradient mask. So that will save in the filters that I've saved here in Effects, plus the gradient mask that I applied with the lens blur, so it's only going to blur the bottom of the photo. I don't want to save the develop settings because those are something that are going to vary from photo to photo, and I don't want to overwrite those. I only want to change what I do in Effects. Then I can pick the category I'm going to put these in. I'll put these in the landscape category, or I could create my own category. Let's actually spell pasture correctly. There we go, and hit OK. So there we go. We saved that preset. We can use it over and over again on similar photos without having to go through and recreate that. And it'll even make the adjustments to the skies using those luminosity masks. It'll change photo to photo based on the luminosity of each photo. That's how powerful those luminosity masks and presets can be. All right. Hopefully that gives you a taste of the real power of what you can do inside of Effects. Thanks for watching.